My closeted lesbian sister moved in with me and my fiancé, then she started flirting with her and made her uncomfortable. So L outed her to our homophobic family. Plus update, I, 27M, live with my, 27F, fiancé, Annie, and recently my sister, Mia, came to live with us. Mia has never actually told me she was a lesbian, but I have always kind of knew she was. Anyways, my parents asked if Mia could move in with us because she can't see her friends since they are high risk. I agreed and Mia has been living with us. I have started to notice changes in her behavior around Annie. Mia has always been shy about her body and at most will wear knee-length shorts on a very hot day even with family. Now she is basically always in sports bras and booty shorts. It was odd, but I haven't lived with my parents in 6 years, so I don't know if she changed her home habits during the time I was gone. I just brushed it off as a self-esteem boost and was proud of her. Then she got especially close to Annie. I assumed it was just admiration, but then it got super weird. She was sticking even closer to Annie, and it wasn't like she was butting in on us when we were being romantic, but it was like she was trying to prevent romantic moments from happening by trying to direct Annie somewhere else. She would also leave the room or look sad when we kissed. I got the feeling she had a crush on Annie. I confronted her about her feelings and told her that it was fine if she had a crush, but she was taking it too far and she denied it. Now my sister knows I know she is a lesbian because a few years ago I sent her one of those "if ex-friend was ever more than a friend" texts. She denied that they were more than friends. I told her that I will always be here to support her and moved on. Things would stop for a while, then pick up. We would have this conversation, then the cycle would repeat. Annie figured out that Mia probably had a crush on her and was uncomfortable by the entire situation. A few weeks ago Annie kind of sister zoned Mia and things just escalated. She openly flirted with Annie to the point where Annie didn't even want to be at home. We couldn't do anything romantic at home because she might see it start openly bawling in her room. Mia was very cold to me and always snapping at me for small reasons. I had enough when she made breakfast for Annie and her using the food I specifically bought for myself, and Annie walked out crying. I pulled her aside and told her that she needs to stop right now or I will kick her out. She acted like she didn't know what I was talking about again, so now I am definitely kicking her out. The only problem is my parents. I can just kick out my little sister and not tell them why. If I tell the truth, my sister will be outed, but if I tell a half-truth like she made my fiancé uncomfortable, they will hate my fiancé because I can't actually explain what my sister did to make her uncomfortable without outing her. My sister deserves a chance to come out, and this isn't like I accidentally outed her either. Is getting herself outed a consequence of her actions, or would I be the asshole? Edit, I am just going to clarify why I can't say that the living arrangement wasn't working out. Like I said in the beginning, my parents are high risk, so she cannot see her friends at all. So if it just wasn't working out, they would tell me to suck it up until the school year starts. If I didn't, I would be the heartless jerk who doesn't want to let my sister have a social life. Second, I don't think they would believe me in the first place because I have never had a problem with my sister. They would just assume I was covering for Annie. Update. Since some of you requested an update, however, the result wasn't the happiest. I got a lot of Yanta for kicking my sister out, but Yuta for outing my sister. I accepted it at that point and was going to have a talk with my parents without outing my sister and being especially vague. Then to my surprise there was a string of NTA for both, the reason being my sister's behavior was a crime and needs to be addressed immediately. I decided to just talk with Annie, who was the victim, and asked her what she wanted to do. With the exception that there was no debating my sister getting the heck out. She said she wanted to tell my parents what happened because they deserve to know. I couldn't agree more, not because like some of you suggested I wanted to out my sister for revenge, but because I think part of the blame is on them. Growing up I was always the smart kid and she was always the social kid. My parents put my education over her events. She couldn't invite her friends over because I was studying. If she was invited to a friend's birthday and I had tutoring around the same time, she would either have to walk to her friend's house, be late, or not even go at all. At some point they realized how this was affecting her and just let her do whatever she wanted. When I needed it to be quiet so I could study, they would just ship me off to my uncle's house. I didn't mind. My parents would let her do what she wanted, but they still gave me more attention. So yes, like some of you suggested, my sister definitely needs therapy. So we talked to my parents after we kicked her out. We told them what Mia did and I think my dad believed us, but my mom didn't. This part is now all just being relayed from my parents. They went to my sister and to my surprise she came clean to everything. She admitted what she did was wrong, but she just couldn't stop herself and she was just so angry at me for getting all the attention all the time. I had all the good things, she didn't. Well, it ended up in a shouting match and they kicked her out. They kicked her out of their house, but they moved her into my aunt's. They gave her an ultimatum, either go to therapy or receive no financial support from them. With the condition that if she doesn't start therapy within the next 5 years, they will not be paying for her sessions. I think they should pay either way, but it's their money, so not my place to say anything. I haven't heard from my sister. She texted Annie to tell her she is sorry and asked her to meet up, but she hasn't reached out to me. I probably wouldn't have responded if she did though. I'll also be looking into getting therapy, even if I'm angry at my sister and never want to see her again. I also feel like I lost her. Yes, Mia was outed in the end, but I think that considering everything, this is the best outcome for her too. Thank you for all the responses. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I feel like you glossed over you kicking her out. How did that go down? I think that her texting Annie and asking her to meet up and not including you is a major boundary violation, especially for your fiancé who is being sexual harassed by her, and she hasn't learned her lesson. NTA. OP. She didn't want to go. She yelled that this was unfair and didn't deserve this. Then she turned to Annie and asked her what she wanted. Annie told her she wanted her to leave and she left quietly. Commenter 2. 5 years? I think she needs therapy now. 5 years is so far away, it doesn't even mean anything. I would give her a couple months. Therapists are doing Zoom calls. OP. My parents mean that she needs to reach out within the next 5 years to get therapy or they aren't paying for sessions. Commenter 3. I'm curious, and nosy, why did your parents kick her out? Was she refusing to get help or something? It seemed like a lot of it was going really positively and then just fell apart. I am worried that them evicting her as well as then now to her more evidence of rejection and being denied. She needs help, but passing the buck when she has literally said I feel like I always came second, has been rejected by her crush/infatuation, who again is with you, so another rejection even though obviously your wife is your wife, but we are dealing with a damaged person here, been kicked out, outed, and evicted again. That is some serious emotional baggage right now she's trying to deal with. Yes, this is pandemic times and pandemic rules reign supreme, but foisting her to another relative seems like it would do more harm than good. OP. My parents kicked her out because she harassed Annie. I don't know why they moved her into my aunt's though. I'm guessing because they wanted to keep tabs on her so she gets therapy and doesn't do anything drastic. I hope my sister gets help, but I'm going to be honest, I have decided to stop worrying about my sister. I hope she gets therapy, but what she does or doesn't do is no longer any of my concern. I want to focus on helping Annie and myself.
Annie and I have already blocked my sister on everything, and I have made it clear to my parents that if they do anything to reinstall contact between my sister and I won't speak to them again.